Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be having a look at r/am I the bort hole. So if you would like to judge some big old gaping bort holes with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. And of course, quick disclaimer, any opinions I give on the posts we read are just facts, not opinions. No. And of course, quick disclaimer, any opinions I give on the posts we read are just opinions, not facts, do not need to be taken as such. If you have a differing opinion, do feel free to leave it in the comments below. Just make sure you're keeping it respectful. There is no need to be mean to each other because you do not agree. With that being said, let's get into it then, shall we? It is currently hotter than Satan's ring piece right now. It's got up to 38 degrees today. And I feel like I'm going to be extra delirious today. Oh dear. So this first one was posted by Tank Additional 2748. Am I the bort hole for standing my ground after personal belongings were stolen and I got them back? I, 27F, and my fiance, 31M, are having issues at the moment. Since I moved in with him back in the new year of 2025, I have had my items be reduced little by little. What, is he like throwing them out or something? That's weird behaviour. For example, I left a wool sweater from AITAH hanging on the bed once, and my fiance took it and put it through the wash. Big mistake if you know how the quality of AITAH was back in the early 2000s compared to now. Was it bad? Was it good? I've never even heard of AITAH, I'm not gonna lie, so I have no idea. And it shrunk. It was an item I can't even reorder since it's considered vintage. This has happened with multiple items of mine. OP, by the way, there is a way to get jumpers back to normal once they have shrunk in the wash. Takes a little bit of effort, but if you get the right stuff, it can be done, and it can be done at home for relatively cheap, honestly. Now, I grew up in a lower class home. When I got my first job, I made an effort to buy and take care of clothes, especially when they're in excellent condition and quality. After all, I can't afford to just let these items get destroyed. But my fiance thinks that my behaviour is of a freshly 18-year-old who is just getting stuff, and thinks that I'm in the me mentality. Huh? What, because they buy things and then look after them and want to keep them looking good? That doesn't make any sense. Like, what? I also noticed that it was certain items that would get destroyed. Basically anything that gives the clean girl aesthetic, he either destroys and doesn't realise, or allows our dog to destroy it. This is like borderline abusive behaviour, no? Like, at this point I'd be like, not only is he doing it, but he's trying to make me think I'm insane by being like, oh, it was an accident. Like, dude, why is your stuff not getting wrecked then? So I made an effort to be the only one that does laundry and sorts clothes, and I have been on top of taking care of my items. Now, this is where I may be the a-hole. This morning, before I let the dogs out, I noticed a homeless person on my front porch where we have left a doggy playpen, and some toys and blankets for the dogs. What I didn't notice was that an extremely expensive blanket scarf was left out there too. When my fiance asked the homeless person to leave, I noticed the blankets were gone, especially my expensive one that I got over 10 years ago. I got extremely upset and he told me not to bother about it and walked away. I wasn't going to let that happen, so I chased down the homeless person. This is going to be a horrific mental image. I can just tell that's going to make me laugh, not for the fact that I find it funny to chase down a homeless person, just for thinking about anyone that's watching this going down, and they're probably just like, what the hell? Of course, they cursed me out and started talking about how I live in a home at least, and I should give her my blanket scarf. I didn't care and told her she needed to give it back. She threw it back with a "fuck you bitch." Lovely. Although I can understand the frustration maybe, considering, for all we know, the boyfriend's probably told her she can have it. You know what I mean? I came back and my fiance was annoyed. He mentioned concerns of needles and AIDS since they slept on our porch and how I should have let it go. Wow, way to stereotype homeless people. My goodness. But he's never shown sympathy for me when it comes to my things being destroyed. Only calls me a child for caring about stuff. But he's never going to replace those items for me, and I never expected him to. I know I can't replace most of my items, and on top of that, because my wardrobe has been reduced to sweats and baggy t-shirts, he makes comments about how I look like a bum or an Asian lady in the summer covered from head to toe, and it frustrates me when I can't afford to get myself clothes or nice things at the moment. Dump him? Dump him right now? My goodness, there is so much wrong with this guy. He is a he is a weirdo. He wants to see you fail for some reason, like he doesn't want to see you having nice things. And also some slightly like discriminatory undertones. I mean, not even slightly, let's be honest. Glaringly obvious discriminatory undertones to the way that he thinks. Would we even call it an undertone? It might just be very overt, very overtly toned. Like, dump him, my goodness. Reason being is because I just graduated university and I just started a job. It's like he expects me to allow people to take or destroy, and I have to tolerate it. So Reddit, am I the butthole? No, you're not the butthole, and there is red flags a waving, my love, and you need to take very keen notice of them. He is seeing what he can get away with, I feel. He's showing blatant disrespect to you, blatant disrespect to your things, and then when you are saying, why are you destroying my things? Why are you doing this, that, or the other? He's messing with your head and trying to flip it back on you by saying, oh, no, I haven't done it. It was an accident. Well, I'm sorry. Why is none of your stuff getting ruined? Oh, well, you know, you're just a child for wanting to keep your things. If anything, I would say someone wanting to actually look after their things and not just frivolously spend on new stuff all the time is, you know, pretty mature, pretty sensible. So, yeah, I feel like he's just basically trying to knock the OP down a good few pegs, basically just to have them where he wants them, and to see what he can get away with, which is a big red flag for the future of that relationship. Dump his ass in the bin, the sin bin, the one that is on fire. So, down in the comments, Lizzie says, you just got engaged 4 months ago looking at your post history. Why say yes to this man who disrespects your things and your feelings this way? And then Amy and Co says, I feel like he's doing this on purpose. Some people really seem to hate the people they're engaged to. I don't get it. And then next Firefighter 4667 says, oh, it's definitely on purpose. Yeah, exactly. Okay, then next post posted by Demon Lover 011235813. And if you're wondering why I always read like the numbers at the end, because that's their username. And you know, we like to give credit for where these posts have come from here. That is the reason I make sure I read them out. So if anyone wants to go and find the posts to have a look, they can do on their own time, you know, look through comments, whatever. Anyway, this one looks like a long one, so strap in. Am I the butthole for only suggesting locations with metal detectors and security to meet with my nephew, who open carries firearms? I have an adult nephew who visibly carries a Glock 17 and 2 spare clips on a waist holster system pretty much everywhere he goes. I'm gonna have to look up if I need to censor the word firearms. If I do, that is so ridiculous. Get it together, YouTube. What the hell? The list of words you have to censor, otherwise you get like suppressed a weedy bit or a lot of it, is ridiculous. It's pretty conspicuous, and he insists on doing this for things as mundane as Sunday brunch, kids' birthday parties, or a barbecue with mixed company. Early on, I've asked him about it, what his safety practices were, and he does keep a round chambered at all times when he's carrying. Well, of course, you know what you need to be locked and loaded and ready to protect yourself against those checks the post partying children. best, it draws a lot of unwanted scrutiny to family events, and I believe it introduces risk to family functions. Kids ask about it, and on occasions he takes his gun out and shows it to them with a round chambered. What is he playing at? What? Why? Why would you have a round chambered and then just get it out and be like, hey, look, kids, look at this? Oh my goodness. At worst, he's indirectly intimidating family members. There's a lot of financial enmeshment within my extended family and some petty squabbles regarding money, business deals, and money owed, etc. I've asked him directly if he can leave his guns at home or in the car and not arrive at family functions armed like John Wick. He responded by saying Houston is a high-crime city and open carry is an effective deterrent to gun violence. Yeah, but if you're at a private kids' party, why do you need to have it? Or a family function, a private family function? Like, why? Ridiculous. And like, if you want to have it as a way to keep yourself safe. Now, me personally, you know, as a Brit, I kind of don't have any experience on open carry and stuff like that. But my personal opinion, I don't think they should be as readily available as they are over there. For obvious reasons. A lot of the mass attacks with them so frequently is obviously, you know, that's the main talking point quite often, isn't it? But for good reason. But that's just my opinion. Whether you agree with it, don't agree with it, that's not the problem here. The thing is, if he wants to have one on him so that he feels like he has some sort of protection, that's his prerogative, you know. The fact that he has to have it out a swanging though, it just says, I want to show off to me personally. Because why are you needing to deter violence at a kid's birthday party? You know, like, that's ridiculous. And then to have it be getting it out to show kids and stuff like that, it says to me he's a show off with it. Personally, that's what I'm reading it as so far, but we have more to read. So I have tried to indirectly mitigate the issue by suggesting places that I know either have a security perimeter, museums, religious centres, larger event venues, etc., or places that have an explicit weapons ban and off-duty HPD officers working security at the entrance. That's quite clever. To be fair, that's quite a clever way around the problem. In the absence of that, I don't attend family events. After the third instance of him being denied entry and having to place his weapon in his vehicle, he's asking me why I'm always suggesting places that don't allow guns. My response was, why does he need to bring a gun and 50 plus rounds to a toddler's birthday party? Yeah, see, that's the question, isn't it? That's the question. In the most recent instance, he asked me out for lunch and requested some physical copies of some documents related to a family trust and LLCs. I told him to meet me at a sports cantina that has metal detectors and off-duty cops working the front door. They denied him entry and he didn't want to leave his firearm in the parking lot, so he asked me to meet him somewhere else nearby. I told him that didn't work for me and to meet me at the cantina or I would be leaving after 30 minutes. Yeah, I get it. I totally get where the OP's coming from. Some people just aren't comfortable around that sort of thing. I know I wouldn't be at all, you know, and it's like, if he wants to carry it with him, well, that it is what it is. But if you're gonna use the excuse of it's for a deterrent, it's for safety, blah blah blah, well, you're going to a place with metal detectors and security and all of that lot, you know, you should feel okay and safe to leave it in your car then for that. So it's not obviously about just having a deterrent. That's how I'm seeing it anyway. After 30 minutes, I paid and got ready to leave, but saw through the window that his car was in the parking lot idling. So I left through the rear entrance, called an Uber from a neighbouring shop and went home. Once home, I sent him digital copies of what he requested. Later that day, he tried to drop by my house, but was unable to gain entry into the community I lived in. There's a security guard booth, and it's difficult to sneak behind a car. Afterwards, my sister started texting me asking what was up and why I was being weird about her son open carrying and refusing to meet him. She accused me of making everyone believe he's a dangerous person. It's gotten to the point where I've gone low contact with that side of the family and have started avoiding events or gatherings altogether where he is likely to be present. So, am I the butthole? No, at the end of the day, if you're not comfortable being around with someone who is open carrying or carrying altogether, you don't have to be. So he's going to have to understand if he wants to meet up with you, then, it's going to have to be without it, because you're going to keep wanting to go to places that are places he can't take it. So, it's tough. It's tough. So, OP then adds some additional updates to address recurring comments and questions. So 1, him letting kids' family members handle his gun at events. To my knowledge and observation, he's never actually let minors hold his gun when he has unholstered it. He does let them touch it on occasion, and there has been at least 2 instances where kids approached him and touched his holster and/or utility belt while he was distracted. Usually it was a situation where 2 small kids are just zooming around the room being kids. Exactly, that's why I'm so shocked that he's literally got around in the chamber when he's coming to a place where there's a ton of kids, a kids party. It's just an accident waiting to happen, I fear. Gives me the heebie-jeebies. 2, my 50 plus ammo comment. My understanding is his Glock holds 17 bullets in the magazine. With 2 spare magazines and 1 in the chamber, he has 52 rounds on him most of the time. I've never actually counted them, so don't know for sure. 3, like others have mentioned, I could have simply mailed, emailed, or texted him the documents he wanted. That would have been my preference, but he was using the documents as a pretext to meet in person and talk about stuff. In hindsight, each of the things he wanted to talk about would have been a hard no from me, and other stuff falls into the 2 categories below. Yeah, and let's not forget that he's trying to intimidate family members with it as well. This isn't just a case of people being uncomfortable around it, which I think they are perfectly fine to feel that way, feel uncomfortable around it, but the fact that he's got a history of not being the best kind of person as well. And there seems to be some financial motives going on here. I do fear this is something that could really end up being a recipe for disaster. Maybe I watch too much true crime. I don't know, but doesn't make me have the good feelings. I can tell you that for free. 4, family trust. There is an irrevocable family trust of which I am co-trustee of. The other trustee is a firm retained to handle the actual administration, bookkeeping, and quarterly distributions. All of the biological grandchildren of my parents are beneficiaries. The trust is currently structured so that the grandchildren receive unequal shares, determined by their branch of the family, per stirp share. Per stirps share? Is that stripe share or stirps? I don't know. Does it matter? Probably not. A grandchild who is an only child gets a full share. A grandchild with 1 sibling gets a half share. A grandchild with 2 siblings gets a third of the share, and so on. My nephew has several siblings, so gets a diluted share compared to his cousins. He's been advocating to amend the trust so that distributions are split equally among all of the grandkids, per capita shares, which would more than double the amount of money he receives each quarter, but would decrease the amount his cousins receive. What he proposes is possible, but would require all beneficiaries to sign off on the amendment, which is unlikely. Yeah, I was about to say, are they really going to do that? Probably not. But he has gotten almost all of them to commit to the notion verbally. Part of what he wanted to discuss with me in person about was amending the trust to that effect, and also adding him as either co-trustee or successor trustee to the family trust. Yeah, I'm side-eyeing this nephew a lot. This is reading the beginnings of a true crime documentary, honestly. We've got an emotionally difficult nephew, to put it that way. We've got intimidation. We've got money. We've got family businesses. We've got the nephew wanting to be in charge of it all, basically. It really does write like a true crime documentary. 5. Family LLC. There is a separate family LLC tangent to the trust that's currently active that nephew is not directly involved in, but does indirectly benefit from. He's been on a mission to insert himself as a member of the LLC since members receive a similar amount of money as the trust. I'm privy to some of the details and receive monthly financial statements, and he's been wanting to access those, but he's not entitled to them. Yeah, red flag, red flag. Separate from that LLC, there are several others that's more narrow in scope and less lucrative, but essentially the same thing, just earlier in the timeline. He wants in on those as well. 6. Past behaviour. Separate from the whole open carry question, which is a pretty recent development, about 2 years, there are prior reasons as to why I'm wary of my nephew that might provide additional context as to why I avoid him. He has defrauded members of extended family in the past, stolen large amounts of cash, and jewellery from my parents, his grandparents, and demonstrated compulsive lying, going to college, graduating from college, working at specific companies, etc., that doesn't hold up to scrutiny. When confronted on these antics, he'll utilise denial, guilt, and tell panic lies to shift attention away from his behaviours. Eee! Oh my goodness, this just gets worse. The more we read, this gets worse. There's been no legal consequences of anything that he's done, but as a result, I've avoided one-on-one dealings with him without third parties present as an independent witness. I don't blame you, OP, honestly. 7. As to whether or not I'm actually concerned about being gunned down by my nephew or getting shot in general, not particularly. It's just more of a broad anxiety of having to be on yellow alert all of the time when he's around. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. I have to keep kids in my peripheral vision and halfway expecting the sound of a discharge to happen at any second. Okay, I'm giggling. I can't stop giggling reading this sentence, so I'm going to have to tell you what I just said. I read it, but I missed out the A. So I read, I halfway expected the sound of discharge to happen at any second, and of course, my childish brain was like, discharge. For fuck's sake. Told you, like, the heat is making me super delirious today. Also, you can feel the people around you look at you and treat you differently. It changes the tone and tenor enough to make things less relaxed and makes 2 to 3 hours feel exhausting. Yeah, I bet. 8. Why do I even interact with him if this is the case? If I want to have a relationship with my extended, he's part of the picture regardless. If I'm hosting my own events, which I do, him not being explicitly invited becomes a topic of conversation with my sister. There's a lot of recognised enmeshment and codependencies within my family, and also a lot of estrangement between individuals and entire branches of the family to the extent that certain occasions, holidays, or dates requires 2 or 3 separate events that are either staggered to allow family members to attend multiple events or compete directly with each other. I'm not keen on the status quo. It's exhausting. It bloody sounds it, OP. But don't see a huge family reunion anytime soon. Maybe it might be time to start accepting that something's got to give, and you can want to keep up with your extended family, but at the end of the day, if they're telling you that that's not possible without him around and his presence is this toxic, which I fully believe it is from reading about him, my goodness, he sounds like just walking stress. I would have to be like, sorry guys, if you're not going to accept the fact that, I don't want to be inviting him because of this, this, and this, then I will have to keep my distance from you too. And, it sucks to do that, but you got to put your own mental health and well-being first, honestly. 9. I've contacted the firms that manage the trust and LLCs to loop everyone in on the specific requests. They'll be running interference going forward. We'll probably add a more distant member of the family that lives out of state to serve as either an additional co-trustee or successor. This sounds exhausting. My goodness. But no, definitely not the butthole. You are well entitled to be like, I don't want to hang out with you if you're open carrying at a kid's party. My goodness, I'm stuck on that. I keep bringing up the kids' party because I just think that's so ridiculous. So, down in the comments, Kelvin Harris Smith says he'll take his gun out and show it to them with a round chambered. Nope, nope, and nope. Not the butthole. He has shown again and again his complete lack of concern of the safety of others, let alone their feelings or concern for their own safety. He is nothing but a big middle finger stuck up in the face of anyone and everyone he encounters. Yeah, he just sounds like a total pleasure to be around. Oh my goodness. And then Trin Lake says, OP, that he's already stolen from and defrauded family elders. Please keep an eye on them. He's unsafe on so many levels. Sure that he can't set himself up as a guardian / caregiver, access deeds, etc. His desperation to change how the trust and LLC are set up and to get set up as a co-manager are concerning. Please do whatever you can to prevent him from robbing the entire family. It may be worth investigating, but after the lies about college, employment, etc., it may not be worth investigating, but after the lies about college, employment, etc., plus the desperation to get access to funds, I'm wondering if motives are hidden in drug organizing problems. Maybe, but it could also just be that he is just greedy. So it could be that too. Either way, advice to keep away from him. Solid advice. And to keep an eye out on all the family elders. Solid advice. Flippin' heck. But no, that was a long one. My goodness. Okay then, so I think that's all we have time for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, slap the like button, slap Big Al. That is your initiation into the Governor Void. Welcome. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye.